Yo, check it, got that new fire straight from the underground. What you need? This that real hip hop.
What's going on, good people? How you doing? How you feeling? It's time to tap in with your boy Ruppleberry and see what we got going on over here today. Now, we got a fan favorite, man, the Fat Electrician. The guy is talking about Waffle House, and if you checked any one of my 800 videos, you know I love some Waffle House. And this guy is like a historian, so he's going to find information that I didn't even know, and we get to find out what's happening. Let's go, bro.
Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. I actually debated on which channel I was going to upload this video on because on one hand, we're going over a business and the business model that it has. But on the other hand, this restaurant is basically the Roman Colosseum of the South, and I'm pretty sure if you eat there enough, you actually get a deployment patch from the U.S. military. Regardless, I wore my schnazziest
Waffle
tank top
House
for the
shows
occasion.
loves to veterans all the time. Like,
today we're talking about
one
Waffle
thing
House.
I can
Okay,
say
just
is
to be completely
Waffle
clear with
House
everybody,
will
I was
show
pretty
love
sure
to
I was not going to get
veterans.
caught off guard because Waffle House is already absolutely crazy. I started looking into it and then found out that Waffle House is somehow connected to the Manhattan Project from World War II. So they managed to actually surprise me, and we're going to get to it right after a word from our sponsor.
The Manhattan Project.
Yeah, babe, what's up?
If you know what that
I need a
is,
Boombox.
Okay, I can go get
Waffle
you one.
House had something to do with
All
the
right, I'm good
Manhattan
now.
Project.
Love you.
All right, bye.
1
That's a
hour
big deal,
later.
bro.
Where's that boombox that I asked for?
Oh, it's right here. I got it for you.
What is this?
The boombox.
No, I wanted something to play music with.
Oh, that kind of boombox.
Look at the muzzle
Yeah, I
on
got
that
this
thing.
instead.
Okay, we'll go
What
to
is
the store
that?
and get me a boombox so I can listen to
Blackout,
music.
maybe?
Can I keep
I
this
will
one
be
still?
getting more
I don't
into
care.
guns, my guys, just so you
This
know.
video is
I'm a
brought to
big
you by
fan
Delete
of them.
Me. Okay, super
I
simple
believe in the
business
right.
model. You give them money, they turn around and they make
I
sure that
believe in the
online
right
data
to bear
brokers are
arms,
not
bro.
selling your personal information online.
So,
Okay, here's the deal. Pretty much anytime you use a free
hopefully I can
service on
find
the
a
internet, you
range or
click that little
somewhere
box
around
that
here
says, I
that'll
agree to the terms
let
and
me
conditions. You
record
basically just
and
agree
bring
to
in
allow
my
them
stuff,
to
but
harvest as much of your personal
I
information
plan
as
on
humanly
doing that
possible. They
very,
then turn
very
around and sell
shortly.
that
So
to
if you
online
see
data
anyone
brokers,
else
and
doing
that's
it,
how they
just
can
know
afford to offer you a
they heard it
free
here
service.
first.
But when you
I'm
have
playing,
Delete Me, they go
bro.
and
I'm
they
playing.
monitor all of these online data brokers for your personal information, and then if they find it, they submit all the opt-out forms on your behalf, so they have to take down and stop selling that information. So when you buy Delete Me, you're not actually buying anything, you're just
Well,
buying
that's
your
actually
way
a
out
good
of all the negative
idea.
consequences of all the free shit that you've already gotten. And because they continue to monitor those data brokers, you're buying yourself out of all the future negative consequences of all the free shit that you haven't even gotten yet. So if you want to give Delete Me a try, there's going to be a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, Waffle
I
House.
hate
This
when people
story
say
begins
it's
with a
free.
gentleman by
There's
the name of
nothing
Tom
ever
Faulkner.
free,
This
bro.
man
Nothing is
graduated from law
ever
school
free,
at
bro.
23 years old,
Someone
passed the
has
bar,
to
and
game.
immediately gets drafted in 1940 in the days leading up to World War II. Because he graduated
All
from
right.
college, he's presented with two different options. He can A, go straight into
Make
officer
waffles.
training, and that's a 3-year commitment, or he can just be a normal draftee and go in as an enlisted soldier, and that is a 1-year commitment. Now you got to remember, at this point in time, like 1940, while World War II is currently going on, America's not involved yet. The attack on Pearl Harbor has not happened, and prior to the attack on Pearl Harbor, the American people did not want to go to war. Because of that, Tom Faulkner figures, hey, we're not actually going off to war.
mean,
I
yeah,
don't want
that's
to waste
actually
3
pretty
years of my
accurate.
time just being in the military.
No
not
one was
actually,
interested
fighting
because
a
he was
war or
like, nah,
whatever.
we're chilling,
so
bro.
he chooses to be a draftee. Goes into the military as an enlisted soldier, E1 private. From there, goes off to basic training. As soon as he gets through basic training, the attack on Pearl Harbor ends up happening. America enters the war. He immediately opts to go into OCS training and commits for 3 years. After he completes the officer training course, he actually gets slotted to be a counterintelligence officer, where he does, and I quote, a lot of top secret stuff.
You see, my identity must remain mysterious and my mission secret. I cannot reveal it to you.
You can actually tell in the interviews that he gave later on in his life, like in his 70s, 80s, and 90s, that
See,
he's
my
still not
identity
sure what he
must
is
remain
and
a
what he
secret.
isn't allowed to talk about. But he did end up telling us that basically it was his job to try to sneak onto military bases, not as military personnel. So he would basically disguise
Sneak onto
himself
a military
as like
base as a
painter or a
janitor?
carpenter or whatever, and try to infiltrate a U.S. military base to expose weaknesses within the system to help counteract enemy spies. So he does that for a couple of years, and then one day he ends up getting orders like, hey, you're going to Knoxville, Tennessee. And he's like, okay, for what? And they're like, don't fucking worry about it, just show up. So he shows up in Tennessee and he's given his orders, and those orders, I'm paraphrasing here, but they're essentially, hey, here's your partner. You two are gonna hop in that truck and you are gonna drive it from Knoxville, Tennessee to Los Alamos, New Mexico. You guys are gonna dress in plain clothes. You're not gonna look at what's inside the truck. You're not gonna talk about what's inside the truck. You're gonna take this map and take take that exact route. This route avoids every major city and every major highway. You are going to drive straight there 53 hours straight, taking turns sleeping in the passenger seat and not stopping for any reason whatsoever. And he does this for the next year and a half, pretty much non-stop. And then like 20, 30 years after the fact, he finds out that he was actually hauling the majority of the enriched uranium for all of the nuclear testing and the building of nuclear.
Uranium is poisonous, people. This man was traveling for 50 hours with poison in the trunk and had no clue. See, this is why I ask questions, and people hate that I ask questions. Why are you asking? Because I need to know the way in which I am set up. I need to know what's happening in order for me to function properly. Please inform me thusly.
Weapons, which, as we all know, brings about the end of World War II, at which point he gets out of the military, moves back home to Atlanta, Georgia, starts helping his dad out with his real estate agency. Now, he does that for about 10 years, and during this time, he ends up selling the house right next door to his to another guy by the name of Joe Rogers, and they pretty much become best friends. Joe Rogers was also an Army veteran. He was actually a pilot that flew B-24s in World War II. When Joe got back home after the war, he did not want to go off to college, so he actually just took the first job that he was offered, being a short order cook at a now defunct restaurant chain known as Tuttle House. He worked his way up, becoming a restaurant manager, then eventually becoming a regional manager. And then one day, his neighbor and best friend, Tom Faulkner, real estate agent, always looking for the next investment, comes to him and is like, hey, I'm thinking about opening up my own restaurant. I can get the real estate deal going on that side. I just wanted to know, like, if I opened up and bought a franchise of Tuttle House, would you be willing to run it for me? Now, at this point, it's like 1954, 1955. Joe Rogers has a ton of experience inside the restaurant industry, and he basically tells his best friend, like, hey, don't open a Tuttle House. You should start your own thing. Tuttle House's business model isn't that great. If you start your own restaurant, I will help you run it. He then goes off on vacation with his family, and by the time he comes back, Tom Faulkner has already bought the real estate and comes to Rogers and is like, cool, what's the business we're starting?
Where's Pancake's house? What? We stop at Pancake's house.
And within the span of like 6 months, the very first of what is now the legendary restaurant chain of Waffle House opens. And Waffle House is legendary, probably for all the wrong reasons. I mean, even if you've never been to a Waffle House, you've heard about Waffle House because, well, I mean, Kid Rock got in a fight there. You've got Haley Booth, the viral Waffle House cook known as the last chairbender.
Don't know who either one of these are. I didn't know Kid Rock got into a fight there.
YouTube channels almost exclusively dedicated to all the fights that break out at Waffle House. I remember the first time I went.
Listen, people. The thing about Waffle House, and I'm going to tell you why there's so many fights. Majority of Waffle Houses, majority of them, okay, not every single one of them, but the vast majority is found very close to the downtrodden and the very, very urban community. Essentially the ghetto. Okay? It used to be very cheap food and it used to be very accessible. So the type of people that work there are going to reflect the community it is in. Therefore, those nasty, aggressive attitudes that people just have in their everyday lives, now they work in a place that customer service is a dying art, and then they act the same way at work. Just nasty, rude, whatever. You come into the establishment and you share the same type of ideas of just being nasty and rude. Now, the person who's at work forgets they're at work and they're arguing with a customer who they don't see as a customer. And now the place of business is no longer a place of business. It is a Royal Rumble ring equipped with spatulas and hot skillets and waffles. That's what happens in Waffle House, bro. It's a wrestling match. And you got to be ready for it.
Went to a Waffle House. I stretched first. I grabbed a GoPro. I was ready to yell World Star. Nothing exciting happened. I just had delicious breakfast at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Which
he went
is
to a
probably
nice
99%
fancy
of
Waffle
people's
House.
experiences, because despite all of the negative PR, Waffle House makes a ton of money and has an incredible business model. Okay, Waffle House had about $1.4 billion in revenue last year, which is about $650,000 per location. And when you take into consideration that each Waffle House is absolutely tiny, that's really impressive. Out of their 2,100 tiny Waffle House locations, their yearly stats are 58 million cups of coffee, 124 million waffles, 153 million servings of hash browns, 272 million eggs, which is about 2% of all the eggs consumed in the United States of America, and 85 million strips of bacon. Yes, I did the math. That is about 8,000 miles worth of bacon.
I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, Give me
all
the bacon
of
and
the
eggs
you have in,
So Waffle
in the
House is
building.
obviously doing something
I
right. What
love
exactly are they doing? Well, it all
Ron
comes down to their
Swanson.
business model and their
That is
branding.
a
Now, with the
man's
Waffle
man.
House branding, all the negative PR about fights always breaking out at Waffle House, in a way, has actually helped them out a ton because Waffle House, by and large, is pretty much a regional chain. It's primarily down in the South. Yet,
Yes,
Waffle House has
sir.
become a household name pretty much everywhere in America. You could have
Love
never
Waffle
even seen
House.
a Waffle House, and you already know Waffle House is open 365 days a year, 24
Never
hours
closing.
a day, and they serve breakfast. Why do you know they serve breakfast? Because their name is fucking Waffle House. I mean, look at this sign. You're driving down the road, you see that, you know everything you need to know. They sell breakfast. The end. Do that with another breakfast place. If you're not from there and you don't know what a Denny's or a Perkins or an IHOP is, you have no idea. It's just
Perkins?
a restaurant, maybe. Waffle House,
Comment section,
they're selling
please.
waffles, which means
What the
there's like
hell
a
is Perkins?
99% chance they sell other breakfast food. Fucking sold. I'm in. So already, the branding is absolutely incredible, but here's the true genius of it. Why did they call it Waffle House? Why didn't they call it Breakfast House or Bacon House or Hash Brown House? It's because
none of that
Waffles
sounds
had the
delicious.
highest profit margin. I cannot stress to you enough how absolutely genius that is, right? Because you don't need to sell breakfast, all right? Everybody's already in on breakfast, okay? I could be blackout drunk at 4 in the morning, and you could ask me, hey, do you want breakfast? I'm coming up like the Undertaker every single time. And then you go, the only thing open right now is Waffle House. Okay, I was already
Let's
sold
go.
on breakfast from the get-go, but because Waffle House is where we're going, guess what I'm getting? A motherfucking waffle, and they're making more money. It makes sense that Tom Faulkner was a counterintelligence
love
officer
waffles.
because the man literally said 2 words and has already subconsciously tricked you into ordering the most expensive thing on the menu that makes him the most money. So the branding of Waffle House is both simple and brilliant, and the rest of the business model matches that to a T. Okay, all Waffle Houses are like virtually identical. They're very small. They only
there's
seat
really
like
not
30
much
people, and you
difference.
can actually see the cook making you your food. Now, at a glance, you're just
Love
like, oh,
it.
they're just
Love
going for that
Waffle
like
House.
19.
That is urban hibachi, okay? Urban style hibachi. If I'm dating a girl, she says, "Hey, babe, I'm feeling like I want some hibachi tonight." Okay, cool. I know exactly where we're going. Yeah, let's get this Waffle House popping.
1950s drive-through type of a vibe, which they are,
Love
but
it.
there's way more to it than that. Because the restaurant is so small, the kitchen never has the opportunity to get bogged down, meaning that they're moving tables very, very quickly.
Yeah,
So
in and
instead of
out.
having one kitchen and 100 customers, you've got one kitchen and 30 customers, and you can just turn those tables over 3 times faster, which pretty much guarantees that every customer is going to get exactly what they wanted, okay? They're not going in there for 5-star dining. They're going in there because they're hungry and they want breakfast, and now they're going to get breakfast really quick in a small setting that doesn't feel like a packed restaurant where they have to wait in line
Split
to
in
be
a
seated. And I know
waffle?
what you're
That is
thinking, what if one Waffle
disrespectful.
House just
Don't
reaches
ask me
its
for a piece of
maximum
my waffle,
capacity,
bro.
right? What if it's just completely
Don't.
full with a line out the door 24/7 every day of the year? Waffle House surely
happens.
would build a bigger Waffle House, right? No.
No.
We're going to take the
No,
same
they're not.
parking lot, and right next to that first Waffle House, we're going to
Put a
build a
Waffle House
second
down the
fucking
street.
Waffle House, okay? The plan is working, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. Which is one
No,
of those
we're
things
not
that
doing that.
seems
We're just gonna
dumb,
build
but
more
is
Waffle
actually
Houses.
brilliant. So obviously,
For
speed
real
is key
estate
to this
reasons.
business model, and they've done themselves a big favor with their menu because their menu is overwhelmingly simple, okay? It's literally one side of one piece of paper. Okay, the
Nope,
entire
it's no
menu is
longer one
comprised of
side,
like 10
people.
things. They have
It's two
waffles,
sides
sausage,
now.
bacon, ham, eggs,
I remember when
toast,
they
biscuits,
redid this, when they
gravy,
changed
butter,
it,
and
and then
syrup.
that
Guess
became
how
the
many
menu.
flavors of syrup they have?
I remember when that changed. I've been dealing with Waffle House for so long. Oh my God.
Paper. Okay, the entire menu is comprised of like 10 things. They have waffles, sausage, bacon, ham, eggs, toast, biscuits, gravy,
hash brown
butter,
bowl
and
changed the
syrup. Guess
game.
how many flavors of syrup they have? 1. It's fucking syrup flavored syrup. The entire menu is simple, exactly how it's supposed to be. Oh, sorry, they have hash browns too. Sorry, 11 things,
Smothered,
not 10.
covered,
Anyways, moving on.
chopped,
Another reason they do so good is they actually might be the best
all
fast food
kinds of
chain when it
goodness.
comes to taking care of their employees. They pay them higher than average. They have super flexible schedules, and they're one of, if not the only fast food chain that actually offers all their employees healthcare and dental insurance. Okay, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, but really, how good are they actually treating the Waffle House employees? I got the one stat that's everything you need to know, okay? Waffle House treats their employees so well that employees are willing to commute into a natural disaster to work at a different Waffle House when the occasion arises. Yeah, Waffle House is open
100%.
24
I've
hours a
seen
day,
it firsthand, bro.
365 days a year, and they fucking fucking mean it, okay? Whenever there's like a hurricane coming or some type of impending natural disaster, Waffle House organizes what they call a jump team, a bunch of Waffle House employees from a different region that's going to be unaffected because they know that their local employees are going to be busy taking care of their own family and their own houses during a hurricane. So they bring in teams from outside the region to work inside of a natural fucking disaster,
100%
and they're willing to do it.
I never said thank you.
And you'll never have to.
Okay, McDonald's can barely get their employees to show up on a good day, and Waffle House has employees volunteering to commute into a fucking hurricane to make breakfast. And this is the most impressive part of the business because Waffle House has the best logistics and preparedness of any company I've ever seen ever. The only entity that beats them in logistical capacity is the United States military. Waffle House is literally ready for absolutely anything. Every single Waffle House has the playbook inside of it that details exactly how the staff is supposed to handle literally any type of emergency or situation that could possibly arise. And if for some reason the situation comes across that isn't in that playbook, after it happens, they immediately add it to the playbook. It covers tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, a hole in the roof from a branch falling, a car driving into the restaurant. You can drive a car into Waffle House and they're still planning on staying open. The playbook even has
100%.
detailed plans for every type of disaster for what the local employees, while they're not working, should go home and do to make sure that their house and their family are safe as well. Every single Waffle House has a backup generator. The stovetop, it runs on propane, and they have a bunch of extra propane tanks on hand. Flashlights, candles, batteries, backup water. They have a special menu of what they're able to serve when the water is out and they're running on reserve water. When a Waffle House location is going to be in a disaster area, that Waffle House stocks up on extra food, and then all of the neighboring locations in the unaffected area also stock up and stage food there to get them more food when they need it. If Waffle House is a standing structure, those motherfuckers are serving breakfast come hell or high water.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
Waffle House is so good at this that FEMA uses them to gauge how bad natural disasters really are. Yes, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, literally uses the Waffle House Index to gauge how bad a disaster is.
Because if Waffle House is closing, it's bad.
Yellow, Waffle House is using the backup generator or having to use an altered menu. Red, Waffle House is closed. People are probably already fucking dead by that point. Waffle House is literally the Terminator of the fast food industry, okay? The fact that the federal government, probably the most powerful entity on the planet, maybe ever, looks at a chain of restaurants and is like, man, if Waffle House is closed, we need to mobilize the National Guard, is fucking crazy. Now, maybe you guys are thinking the same thing I was at this point in my research, and I'm like, man, I need to invest in this company. I need to see if I can open up.
You know how hard it is to get stubborn Southerners to move? Like, it's extremely difficult. I mean, extremely difficult. A stubborn, hardcore Southerner sticks to their guns. They're not doing what they don't want to do. But if Waffle House says they're closing, they will mobilize quickly. All right, guys, we got to go. Why? Because Waffle House is closed. And I'm telling you, if we are driving around and we see that Waffle Houses are closed, lights off, no one's in the building, we are clearing the area because they know something that we don't. I'm telling you, anybody that lives in the South, if you drive by a Waffle House and the lights are off, you are asking questions.
Same thing I was at this point in my research, and I'm like, man, I need to invest in this company. I need to see if I can open up my own Waffle House franchise. This company's awesome. And this is where the bad news comes in. I mean, technically you can franchise a Waffle House, but most of us probably can't. The company is privately owned. It's not on the stock market. It's still owned by the families of the original two founders. And while they do allow franchises, they are super picky about who they let buy in to have a franchise, and they make it very, very expensive to buy in to make sure this is actually what you want. And while that is unfortunate, I think it's actually kind of awesome. It's a company that
It
actually
keeps
has
it
morals
pure.
and cares about their image more than
Keeps
they
it
care
clean.
about next quarter's profits, okay? It's a company that has committed themselves to making breakfast under any circumstances, and they're gonna see that through till the very end, even though they could probably make way more money by just selling franchises and letting whoever the fuck throw up a Waffle House. And now for the fairy tale ending, Joe and Tom worked together as best friends for 62 years to build Waffle House into what it is today.
Their pictures
They both
are
passed
up in
away at
all
the ages of
buildings, I believe.
97 and 98, and now Waffle House and their legacy lives on as that company is still being operated by their kids, and that is the American dream. Get together with one of your best friends, pick a goal, even if it's something as simple as serving breakfast to people, and never let anything get in between you and achieving your goal, even hurricanes and floods and natural disasters, apparently. Work with your best buddy for 62 years straight, and then die together and hand it off to your kids. In conclusion,
I'm with
Waffle
that.
House is the
I'm
most
100%
American
with that
company
idea.
ever,
I
and
just
that's
don't
why I
have
love it. Thank you for
many
watching.
friends.
Best way to support the
Sorry.
channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Okay.
Just two homies that dedicated their life to serving my drunk ass breakfast at 3 a.m. I'm gonna get teary-eyed next time I go to a Waffle House.
So listen. Story time. I actually got offered to be a shift supervisor at a Waffle House down in Fairburn, Georgia last year. At the time, I was a sous chef for for a restaurant down there, and I was looking for other things to do. Got offered the shift supervisor position, and I called a friend of mine who I told to go work for Waffle House when we worked together. We ended up leaving the job, and she was looking for another job, and I said, "Hey, go work at Waffle House," and she was like, "No, I don't want to." I'm telling her like, "Yo, look, go work at Waffle House, bro." She went to work at Waffle House and stayed there for almost 8 years. Like this year's things just happened, took a change, and she no longer works with them, which sucks. But when I say I love Waffle House, I stand by Waffle House. I tried to get a job at Waffle House when I was like 15, 16. Like I continuously tried to work at Waffle House. It never worked. And then when I got offered the position last year, um, I'm gonna say that I had my head in a different space, and I was just like, I don't really want to be a shift supervisor of a Waffle House. At the time, I was enjoying being a sous chef where I was at, so I didn't really see the need to leave. But I did. I think I did take the phone interview. I think I did a phone interview. Um, but yeah, no, like I 100% back Waffle House, bro. And like I said, if you are in the South and you're driving around and it's stormy out and all these things, and you start passing Waffle House after Waffle House after Waffle House and they are closed, you will panic because Waffle House does not close. And when I say does not close, I mean does not close. Like there was I was at the time I was living in a hotel when I first got hooked on Waffle House. I'm gonna tell you how that happened. I was living in a hotel, and the only thing within walking distance was Waffle House. It was the hotel was right here. There was a bridge in between me and a gas station, another two hotels on this side, and then Waffle House. That was it. It was the only thing in the area as far as walking. And I was adamant on not eating Waffle House. I was still fresh, still had that whole New Yorker mentality, and I thought Waffle House was dirty and all these other things. I was like, but I'm not doing it. It got real bad. It got real bad, and I'm in the hotel room, hungry, stomach growling. I'm like, bro, I need something to eat. I had coins, y'all. No cash dollars. I'm talking coins. I gathered up probably like $3 or $4 in coins, walked down to the Waffle House. And at the time, like I said, this is before they even changed the menu. They still had like paper menus, I think. But what they did have was dollar burgers. They had dollar burgers. And you can get you a burger for $1, put some onions on it, some cheese, whatever, a couple cents. Like, and then the customer service, the ladies that work there, typically it's ladies. They got dudes that work there, but typically it's the Waffle House lady. And she was so nice. I gave her all the money I had. She gave me two burgers and a waffle. Now, mind you, I know that totaled up to more than what I had, but I don't know. Maybe she saw the desperation on my face. She saw that my stomach was growling, whatever. I don't know. Maybe God told her to feed this man and she did. But that was the moment in which I fell in love with Waffle House. I never had a waffle from there. I never had food from there, but I got a cheap burger and a really good waffle. They didn't even have blueberry waffles at the time. Okay. It wasn't a seasonal thing. I don't even think like they didn't have blueberry waffles. They just had regular waffles. And I think they had chocolate chip waffles at the time. And I'm not a kid, so I wasn't a big fan of having chocolate chips in my waffle. But I fell in love, bro. That burger was so good. I'm talking about greasy goodness at 2, 3 in the morning. After that, I would always go to Waffle House. Now, before then, in high school and partying and teenage years and all that, I was always around when everyone would make up their mind to go to Waffle House, and I'd be like, nah, I'll wait. I'm good. I don't want to eat it. Like, but I'll go. I'll be there. I'm with y'all. I'm not gonna eat it. Feel like I missed out on like some great childhood moments not eating at Waffle House, bro, as a teenager. Um, Man, you go out 15, 16, you go out driving around downtown Atlanta all night. Now you headed back to your side of town, and the only thing open is Waffle House. And 2 cars full of people stop. We get out, we go in, reeking of everything from the club, and you just sit, you laugh, you have fun. Like those are the times I remember. Of course, I remember fights, but I remember having some of the biggest laughs and even picking up girls and like meet like Waffle House is a great place, bro. Like I literally love Waffle House. You now have seen it. I have a Waffle House hat, which I am proud to say I do not have to work there to get the hat. Um, I used to, and there's if anyone who's ever worked with me in the kitchen and you see me pull out those Waffle House cooking sleeves when I'm on the grill, it's because I think Waffle House is like one of the only places that I know of outside of even McDonald's that would give that type of PPE to their employees. Like, I don't have to ask you for anything to keep me safe. You're giving me everything. Like just literal, if you've never cooked on a grill, you put your arm over a grill, it gets hot. But if you're on a grill all day and you got these sleeves on, you're fine. But the sleeves say Waffle House. I worked at a place called Culinary Dropout. Really top fancy place. Really good food, by the way. Love the place. But I used to rock my Waffle House sleeves. I was on the grill. I wasn't cooking all day. I mean, I wasn't working at Waffle House, but I'm cooking all day. And I'm trying not to burn myself. And everybody, they would laugh and be like, oh, you work at Waffle House, you work at Waffle House. Meanwhile, I'm one of the best grilled cooks y'all got. So imagine if I did work at Waffle House. Like, imagine if I did work at Waffle House. I would love to franchise a Waffle House, bro. You know what? That might be in the future, y'all. Y'all might see me back there with the what is it? What they call them? Rock stars. I might have a little rock star jersey on, my little Waffle House camo hat, for working there. Just go to your Waffle House and tell them good job. Like go to your local Waffle House and just let them people know like we see y'all. Cause I'm telling you from firsthand experience, yo. When I got my homegirl that job, I watched her work her way up, and I've literally seen all ins and outs of Waffle House, what they can be like, what they act like, the staff, the type of like I've seen it all firsthand. And I'll say this, it could be better. It really could be. But the quality of the food is not determined by the people that work there. The quality of the food is always on point. That's one thing they will always keep. That food is on point. Now, whether your server is having a good day or not, and she decides to pass that attitude on to you, depends on where you at, like I said. But I'm going to stand firm with it, bro. I love Waffle House. God, man, that was a good video. And I got to talk about Waffle House. Like 100%. I wonder how many times I've said that name since the video started. Like, I feel like there's a big stamp on my face that says Waffle House now. Either way, though, I'm probably going to get a Texas melt today. I haven't had Waffle House in a couple of weeks. I don't leave my house all of a sudden. I don't go anywhere now. So that might be the stop. And hopefully, if you see me there, just say what's up, man. Give me 2 fingers. Show support for the team. Just show love. But if you're watching this right now and you tuned in and you're still here, bro, thanks for staying, honestly. But show love to the channel, man. It's greatly appreciated. I know a lot of people say that as soon as the video starts. Hey, you guys, I need you to like, comment, and subscribe and all of that. But my thought is, if you make it to the end of the video, you're more likely to do that. So hopefully that thought comes true. And I see you again. Until next time, peace. And show love, especially the Waffle House.
Perfect.